There are moments in sport that refuse to be forgotten. Not because of the scoreline, not because of the statistics, but because of what they mean to an entire people who have been waiting, sometimes for generations, to finally feel what victory at the highest stage feels like. This is one of those moments. June 22nd, 2026, BC Place, Vancouver. A sold-out stadium draped in red, and a man carrying the weight of a nation on his shoulders, walking out for a World Cup group stage match that his country had never, in all of their football history, managed to win. His name needs no introduction, but on this day, even Mohamed Salah had something left to prove. In the days leading up to Egypt's match against New Zealand, a story was circulating that no one inside the Egyptian camp wanted to acknowledge. Reports had surfaced suggesting tension, a rift, some called it, between Salah and the national team setup. The head coach came out publicly to deny it, but the fact that a denial was even necessary told you everything about the pressure already surrounding this squad before a single ball had been kicked. This is what it means to be the face of a footballing nation at a World Cup. Every silence becomes a statement. Every miss becomes a symbol. Every question about team harmony lands not just on the player, but on an entire country watching from thousands of miles away. Egypt had never won a World Cup match. Not once. In all their appearances on the global stage, the Pharaohs had never managed to cross that line. And now, in Group G, surrounded by Belgium, Iran, and New Zealand, with the first 3 group matches all ending in draws, the table was wide open. The moment was there. The question was whether Egypt and Salah were ready to take it. The early signs were not encouraging. Within 15 minutes, New Zealand had the lead. A set piece, a corner. Tim Payne's delivery found Finn Sermon in space, and Sermon's jumping header flew past a helpless Mostafa Zico. The All-Whites, a team still hunting their own first World Cup win, suddenly looked like they might be the ones to make history instead. For the Egyptian fans packed inside BC Place, dressed in red, having traveled thousands of miles, or tuned in from Cairo, Alexandria, and every corner of the country, that goal must have landed like a stone in still water. Salah tried. In the 35th minute, after New Zealand gave away a free kick on the edge of the box, a teammate laid the ball off. Salah struck it. It missed to the left. Halftime arrived. The scoreboard read 1-0 to New Zealand. In the dressing room, a nation held its breath. What happens in those 15 minutes between the two halves of a match like this is rarely captured by cameras, but the football tells you something about what was said. Egypt came out of the tunnel transformed. Less than 40 seconds into the second half, Salah was already pressing Crocombe in the New Zealand goal, forcing a save before the crowd had even settled back into their seats. The shift in energy was unmistakable. The Pharaohs were no longer waiting. They were hunting. And then, the breakthrough. 58 minutes. Mohamed Hani delivered a precise cross into the box. Mostafa Zico met it with a header near the 6-yard line. The ball struck the glove of Crocombe and crept in. 1-1. The red end of BC Place erupted. But Egypt were not finished. Not even close. Here is what makes great players different from good ones. They do not simply participate in moments, they architect them. 9 minutes after the equaliser, Zico found Salah on the right side on a transition play. Salah took the ball, drove at his man, and drew the defender before slipping a pass forward to Zico. What happened next was pure craft. Zico backheeled the ball into a pocket of space, and there was Salah, arriving onto it with a left-footed finish into the bottom left corner. Goal. His 68th international goal. His first of this tournament. He pumped his fist. Then his teammates mobbed him. And in that moment, the noise inside BC Place told a story that no scoreboard could fully contain. What does it take for one person to carry the hope of 100 million people and still find a way to deliver when the pressure is at its absolute peak? 24 minutes later, The match was sealed. Salah sent in a low corner kick. Trezeguet, unmarked at the far post, met it with a diving header that bounced into the net. 3-1. It was Trezeguet's 24th international goal and his first ever at a World Cup. In the 85th minute, Salah was substituted off. What followed was not just polite applause, it was a standing ovation from a crowd that understood, in full, what they had just witnessed. He walked off the pitch in Vancouver, having changed Egyptian football history. "In years to come," Salah said after the final whistle, "we will remember that this was one of the achievements in history." He was not being dramatic. He was being precise. He also spoke about the crowd, about how the Egyptian contingent in the stands had made BC Place feel like home, like they were playing on their own soil, not thousands of kilometers away in Canada. "It feels like we are playing in Egypt," he said. "It's a great win and a great vibe." There is something profound in that. The idea that no matter how far a nation's people travel, they carry their identity with them. That in the right moment, under the right lights, a football stadium on the other side of the world can feel like home. Egypt now move into their final group stage match against Iran, all but assured of advancing to the knockout rounds, regardless of the result. New Zealand, still waiting for their own piece of history, face Belgium, with their tournament fate very much undecided. Two nations, two parallel searches for a first. Only one of them found it on this day. There is a version of this story where the first half never recovers, where the missed free kick in the 35th minute becomes the defining image of a tournament that slipped away before it began, where the silence of the dressing room at halftime becomes permanent. But sport, at its most extraordinary, does not follow the expected script. Egypt came back. Salah delivered, and a nation that had never tasted World Cup victory finally knew what that felt like. The only question worth sitting with now is this. For a player who has spent his career redefining what is possible, who has won leagues, Champions Leagues, and individual honors at the highest level, was this, a single group stage victory in the summer of 2026, the moment that meant the most? Based on what we saw in Vancouver, the answer might just be yes.